The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Happy Wednesday, guys. What's up? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the book. He is Dave Sherapan. I am Matt Perrault. We are live on YouTube at Boston versus the book. The same on Twitter, X, replayed on Sports Grid TV. Speaking of Sports Grid, first guest today from Sports Grid, little Mikey Carver coming on here in a second. And we're live on, or next, we're replayed on SiriusXM, channel 159. We will have a Bills overload for you guys who are in Buffalo today. Carver and then Tommy the Lip, who's going to come on here and tell us all about the Bills beating the Ravens.
Yes, sir.
He may be in the minority there, Dave, when it comes to that opinion.
Maybe. The way the betting line is moving, you would think so. The way everybody's talking about this game, you would think so. But,
yeah,
you know, the Lip ain't scared. He'll be here first or second. I mean, Carver's first. Carver's a Bills guy. Has been. He's lived it. You know, seen a lot.
Is this his first appearance on the show?
No. Carver's been on once before.
When?
I have to go back and look.
I think
don't know.
year one. I think like he was on the show like back in the props days. I was trying to remember like when's the last, because I don't remember talking to Carver on the show. It's like, how have we not had him on?
Yeah. I mean, it's been he's got to do
conflict.
His show with Scotty.
Yeah.
So we had him on when we were going at 10 a.m. We
Was
had
easier.
him on. Yeah. We had him on. I don't remember when. But,
Okay. I want to say one quick thing at the top because I know he's watching and I know he's recovering. Our friend Brian Apoka, who came to the show in Chicago, had triple bypass surgery yesterday.
Oh,
I didn't want to say much about it. I didn't want to I wanted to see him through to the other side before I brought it up, before I said anything. But he DM'd me last night and said he's through surgery. He's resting comfortably. And he wanted to just say everyone to the brigade. I wanted to say best wishes for him during his recovery.
Ooh.
Hopefully everything goes really smoothly. He's normally in the chat. He's one of our most diehard guys. He loves the show, loves BvB, watches every day. But he's in a hospital in an Illinois hospital outside of, I forget where he said he was in Illinois, that he had the surgery. But triple bypass, no joke.
DelCab or something, I believe he's from DELKLB.
Okay.
AALB, somewhere in Illinois. I remember when we met him, we were talking about that.
He told me, let me see.
It's like our age, right?
Yeah. He's in the 40s.
Okay.
Triple bypass is something you don't expect to have happen, but he had been writing to me just saying, hey, he's in Naperville. He's at Naperville, Illinois, Edwards Hospital is where he had the triple bypass.
Shout out to him and all the people that helping him get better.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah. So we hope everything gets fixed and everything works well. And I didn't want to bring it up on the show until. So sorry to start off on kind of a rough note, but I wanted to give Apoka a little shout out there. Say we're thinking about you, praying for you. Hopefully everything works out well in your recovery. But thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of it. And suburb of Chicago. Thank you, Sonic. So yeah, scary stuff, but hopefully everything's going to be okay with him. Heart seems to be on my mind today. So
right.
We all have our things going on that way with that. So Mike Carver from Sports Grid is going to join us here in a couple of moments, and then we'll get to Tommy the Lip on this. Let's start with college basketball. Auburn and Duke both win easily, but Bama and Florida both go down last night at home. Either one of those losses surprise you?
No.
With Florida going down to Missouri and Bama going down to Ole Miss?
No, I mean, they were both big favorites, but you see what the SEC is. I mean, it's real. It's really, it's the best conference, and nobody wants to hear it, but it's true. They got the best teams, and winning on the road is going to be a problem for a lot of teams.
Just playing in general. I mean, both Florida and Bama lost at home. Like,
yeah, they're going to
through the whole conference.
Each other up, right?
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of cannibalization, is what the word is. I don't know if they're P1 wins, P2 wins. We're getting into quadrant and all that other crap, but those were good basketball games. I mean, Florida came all the way back. They were getting crushed
all the way back.
And then I thought they were going to win in overtime.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
Yep.
So it is a basketball conference now, Shippy. It is.
The NIL money, yeah. They put a commitment onto it. I mean, and you understand why, because football had been such a big moneymaker for them. And they said, okay, well, what if we can get basketball up and going? And they've got great coaches. Chris Beard at Ole Miss. That's now 5 wins for Ole Miss as a road dog. Sorry, 4 wins this year for Ole Miss as a road dog. So that's a road-tested team. He can coach. They got some really talented players for Ole Miss that shot the lights out last night. Alabama really, I never thought Bama was even really in that game, even though the numbers came, up at 9, 10, 12 points for most of the game for Ole Miss. But you're right, the Missouri game, the comeback for Florida, that was college basketball at its peak. Oh. I love home games like that when everything is rocking and then the road team just is like hanging on for dear life.
Right.
Just
yes.
Like, get us to 0-0s, get us, and then win by 1. And so Missouri gets the W there last night in college basketball. So got a bunch of big games tonight, including Iowa State and Kansas, which we'll get to later on. Cyclones, they win this game. Auburn wins, so they'll keep the number 1 next to them. But Iowa State is chomping at their heels here for potentially being the number 1 team in the country if they keep playing.
Auburn didn't even really miss a beat.
No, that was a blowout of blowout proportions. That number, I think it was,
their
7,
their
right?
guy
8?
Was out. Yeah.
Yeah. Broom.
They just
didn't matter.
It really didn't. Like, we had talked about that a little bit on Sports Grid with Wetzel. And I said, I don't know. We'll have to see how much it impacts. It didn't impact them at all.
0. No impact whatsoever. Auburn's really good. I mean, Bruce Pearl's team is really, really good.
They're deep.
Yep. And the freshman guard that they've got, Petway is really, really talented. It's just funny because my friend's kid is committed to Auburn. So I have like a really crazy, like I'm watching Auburn and I'm watching going like, Kevin's kid's going to play for the number 1 program in the country.
It's crazy.
It really is. It's nuts that Auburn is so good at college basketball right now, given where the football program is. I mean, that's a basketball school all of a sudden, given what's happened with their football program. Things are not well football-wise, but basketball couldn't be better. So we'll get to some more college basketball games coming up here, but he's a busy man, and I want to get right to him because we don't want him to be waiting too long. He is the one and only Mike Carver joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book, fresh with a very, I don't know what am I calling that
Michael?
Jacket? What is that jacket?
This is now listen, Matt. It's great to see you, Dave. Good to see you as always. This is how I roll sometimes, Matt. I mean, I have an extensive closet of great jackets. And if there's never a month to wear this one, I mean, it's got to be now, right? I mean, let's go. It's playoff time. I don't break this out very often, but for BvB, why not? Let's go, baby.
I love it. Michael, are you worried? Like it's the game of the season. It's the game of Sunday. And there's good games, and we'll get to them quickly, so you can go and do the show with Scotty. I don't want to keep that guy waiting and yelling and, starting yelling, where's Carver? But you got to be a little nervous.
Oh, I'm extremely nervous about this game this week. I am not going to sit here and give you all the big confidence boost. They're going to smash them. This is a Bills win. I see a lot of Raven people and a lot of people siding with the Ravens doing that. I don't know why they're playing this game on Sunday, to be quite honest with you, when you listen to some of these people. But look, this is a tough task for Buffalo, and it's not because of Lamar Jackson, guys. I mean, the Bills have beaten Lamar Jackson in the playoffs before. It's the guy behind him who I have the biggest worry about this weekend. Derrick Henry smashes the Buffalo Bills. He did it in Tennessee. He did it week 4 in the Sunday night game in Baltimore. The Bills have a very hard time with him, and that is going to be their focus on Sunday in this game. And if they can slow Henry down, they're going to have a pretty good shot. Maybe getting another crack at potentially Kansas City in the AFC title game.
All right, I got a golf question because you're being called the golf god here by Iran Sean.
Be careful with that.
Hey, look, the chat's lighting up here. They know golf god, Michael.
He's calling the golf god. Are you betting the Tiger Woods weird, whatever you want to call it, hypothetical golf, because it's not real golf? Are you betting the golf league at all right now?
You guys know I love betting golf. I love it. Love betting golf. I have been skeptical the first 2 weeks to actually put money on this thing. Now, I did the first week. I liked the play at the Bay team, whoever, Wyndham Clark and Shane Lowry and Abear. I bet them the first week. I did not make a play last night on it. I was thinking about playing Tiger, but I didn't do it. I'm still nervous about betting on guys hitting balls into screens. Like, I'm just I'm not all the way there yet with doing it. I love golf, watching golf. I love betting golf. And I think this is cool, what they're doing. But, like, I saw some guys hit some shots last night into the screen, and I'm going, what did they do that makes you think it went that far right or that short or
Tiger in the drink?
Tiger hit one wedge, like you say, went over the green. Like, please, Tiger's not hitting a wedge over the green. I don't care if he can't walk. Tiger's not going to hit a wedge over a green standing still. So that kind of stuff does make me think about it. Now, there's also this part of it too. This is not readily available to everyone to bet. In all these legalized states and things like that. In New York, where I am, you cannot legally play TGL right now. It is not on the board anywhere. You got to go to the barber or whatever if you want to play the TGL in New York. So that's where you're at right now. And I think that the reason why a lot of these states haven't, and apparently TGL is working with the states to make it as quick as possible, is you are betting on guys hitting balls into screens at the end of the day.
Yeah. And sculling shots from a makeshift bunker and all this other stuff and whatever it is.
Yeah.
Word on the street is you had that guy that chipped in or something on Sunday. Did you have this guy Nick something on
Nick
on
Taylor?
Nick Taylor? Was he on the card, Michael?
He was on the card, but not to win. We had Nick Taylor for a top 20 last week at the Sony.
Okay.
That doesn't pay as well as the 110 to 1 he was to win the tournament. I wish I had him to win the tournament. I have had Nick Taylor twice. He's won, I think, 5 times now. I had him last year, picked him up after the second round when he won the Waste Management in Phoenix. And I had him the year before that when he won the Canadian Open in a playoff over Tommy Fleetwood. So I've had some success with Nick Taylor, but I was not in on him to win last week.
I was at Circa and I was with a guy. His name's Chris Macero, good guy. He had him to win it, so he hedged as when it went to the playoff. He still won like 4 times, but he took a little bit of the profit back because he was nervous. How much of the golf are you into now? Like, is it really? I mean, they're in Hawaii, and then they're maybe going to go to LA, maybe not. I don't know what's going to happen with all these fires and all this other stuff. And then Super Bowl week is down in Phoenix. Like, are you into the West Coast swing, or does it really start for you when they get to Florida?
No, I like the West Coast swing. Now, I don't love this week. I don't particularly like the Amex in La Quinta because they play at 3 different courses. It's a bit of a pain to cap. You got 3 different sets of first-round leaders tomorrow, which I don't particularly love. I think that for me, it's once you get to Pebble. Now, Pebble's in 2 weeks, and then you go Pebble, Waste Management, and you start to really ramp into some of the bigger events. The Genesis in February, that's going to be up in the air in terms of what's going to go on because of what's happened out there. But even next week, like even the Farmers, like Torrey Pines is awesome. We can get into that next week. This is really the last kind of tournament where you're like, all right, I mean, this tournament kind of sucks. Like, can we get to the Amex isn't great, but I think next week's when it starts to really. And the Pebble is a signature event, so you get the big dogs at Pebble Beach in a couple weeks, and that's the first really big field event of the year.
All right, you're in New York. Football is dead in New York, as we know. Mets are the talk. Yankee fans are mad. Yeah. The Mets are rumored to be putting together a package to go get Vlad Guerrero Jr. out of Toronto. Are the Mets going to just dwarf the Yankees in terms of attention and just performance? Like, it's January, spring training's opening up in a month. On the ground, are people talking Mets over Yankees?
Look, I'll say this about, I've lived here all my life, obviously. There is, without question, a big brother, little brother thing with the Knicks and the Nets. There's without question a big brother, little brother thing with the Giants and Jets. I mean, even though they both had their problems for a while now. And there absolutely is one with the Rangers and the Islanders. All three of those sports, you have big brother, little brother. Baseball isn't the same. And I know it's weird to say that, but I think it's kind of equal in the amount of fans that both teams have. In the 80s, everyone was a Met fan. In the 90s and 2000s, everyone's a Yankee fan because they win. You know, when the Mets went to the World Series in 15, everybody's a Met fan when they played Kansas City. Like, baseball is king in this town, and both teams have had their moments over the last 40 years. Yankees more than Mets, there's no doubt about that. But, you know, for the Mets to really, truly, like, own New York, they have to win a championship. Like, everyone's into it when they're in the playoffs. This run was awesome. You had both teams in the Final Four this year, which is very cool. But at the end of the day, they both lost to the Dodgers. The Yankees went a step further, and they both lost. So the Soto thing gets everybody gassed up, but what are they doing besides that? Because they haven't done it. Remember something, the Mets were sputtering last year, and they got a hot 6 weeks from Sean Manaea and a few other pitchers. Like, who's pitching for them in September and October next year? You're going to get that again from Sean Manaea? I'm not so sure about that. So I'd be careful with all the Mets stuff being thrown around. They clearly don't want Alonso back. So I guess that's going to be out of the mix because they could have had him, and they don't want him.
What's the AFC and NFC championship when we revisit all this on Monday, Mike? What are we talking about Monday?
Well, look, I'm obviously, as you can tell by looking at me,
you can say the Bills.
I'm hoping that it's going to be the Bills
against
the Chiefs
for
another round and two teams that know each other. I want to sit here and tell you, I think the Bills have now taken enough games against the Chiefs and playoff losses and regular season wins that I think that this might be the year where they have finally would figure it out and get by them. But I'm not stupid enough to pick anybody against Kansas City until I see it happen. And I think it's Lions-Eagles on the other side. I know that the Washington story's fun, but I think they're going to get smashed on Saturday night. There's a reason why that line's that big. Because they're going to get trucked. They are the spunky underdog magic carpet ride team that has busted into these last 8 teams, and you're going to see it on Saturday night when they play a big dog. And I think Eagles-Lions would be an unbelievable game. But be careful with the Rams. They got the better coach and the better quarterback in that game. I know it's going to be cold, but those guys, I wouldn't want to bet against McVay and Stafford, no matter where the game is.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about before about legacy. If Josh Allen loses to Lamar Jackson, are we looking at the potential for Josh Allen to be in the same category as an all-time great, a Dan Marino type, an incredible, amazing individual, but never get to play in a Super Bowl?
I mean, it's obviously possible. I think that Allen has also found himself to be extremely unlucky that he's had Patrick Mahomes standing in his way and a better team standing in his way. Let's remember something. Josh Allen played, and I will say this until somebody has a better game. Josh Allen played the greatest quarterback he had the greatest quarterback performance in a losing playoff game of all time. Go look at it. The numbers in the 13-second game, that is the greatest performance by a losing quarterback in an NFL playoff game. He came down the field twice in the last 2 minutes and gave the Bills the lead.
And scored, right?
And scored in the last 2 minutes, and he never saw the ball again after that. Josh Allen has had huge playoff moments. Josh Allen has been unlucky that his coach and his defense have let him down in some of these spots. Last year, you could say his kicker with Tyler Bass missing when he got him in the range to be able to tie that game and send it to overtime. So they got to get through this week. I've said it all week to Scotty. I'm not talking about next week until they get through this week. And there's been a lot of very chirpy Baltimore people who don't seem to get. That was it was a weird situation, that Week 4 game. The Ravens were 1-2. The Bills were 3-0. The game meant so much more to the Ravens to not fall to 1-3. Primetime game in their building.
It went bad fast, though, Mike. It went bad fast.
The Bills didn't have their 3 best defensive players. Milano, Bernard, Taron Johnson. All 3 didn't play in that game. Ed Oliver got hurt in that game. This is going to be a much different game on Sunday when the Ravens and the Bills get together.
To the over. Last one for me because I know you got to go. Is the game played to the over Sunday night? I'm leaning over. I think there's going to be scoring. I think they're going to trade scores, and I think the first team to 30 is going to win somewhere in that neighborhood, 31-28. I don't see this being a 24-21 game. Maybe that would be the least they would score, but I'm thinking over, and I rarely do. And then the other thing is you got to tell people about the NHL show that we do every Friday.
Yeah. I'm kind of torn on the total, Dave. I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, I think people think Lamar and Josh Allen, we're getting 38-35. We're getting the Bill Lion game from a month ago. You're getting on. I'm not so sure about that. I don't know if that plays this week. I think that this game's going to be a blue collar game, a little bit closer to the vest. Remember, it's going to be like 5 degrees also in Buffalo on Sunday night.
Not easy to tackle that monster in that, Michael.
Sean McDermott as the Bills coach. The Bills are 14-2 under 32 degrees.
Hello.
14-2 under 32 degrees. Lamar's 1-1.
Say it again, Michael.
Lamar doesn't love really cold weather. Now, he played well last year. He beat Houston. It was very cold in Baltimore, that divisional round game. But for the most part, doesn't love it. And as far as the hockey show goes, yes, NHL Today on Fridays on Sports Grid at 2 p.m. East is when Dave stops by and we chat about several things that go on throughout the league.
Interesting. So we'll end it with this. Josh Allen was 27 of 37 for 329 and 4 touchdowns.
Oh, how
in
did
that
he
game.
lose?
And Matt, think about it. Never saw the ball again. His idiot coach decided to play the sidelines when the team that he was facing still had 2 timeouts with 13 seconds left. Why are you playing the sidelines when they have timeouts?
Let it go, Mike.
Does it make sense? I still am bobothered by that. That game bothers me more than any of these other losses to Kansas City. Obviously.
So is that performance better than 28 of 48 for 505 yards and 3 touchdowns?
Who had that one?
Tom Brady against the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Here we go with the Brady stuff.
Look,
Come on.
You know what? Yes, I think it was a better performance because of what Allen did in the last 2 minutes. I think it was better. And what the Patriots lose that game by? How much? What was the final? I know it was close, but still.
28 to it was. What was
Eagles got in the 30s that day, didn't they? I'm pretty sure. I
Sounds
remember
right.
running around the D that party they had across the street. I was there that day.
Well, they had
all those Zach Ertz touchdown tickets. And I'm pretty sure they got in the 30s.
Yeah, the Patriots scored, he had 3 touchdown tosses in the game and no picks. So it was easily a high scoring game. Game went over.
Hard to lose a game like Allen had that day.
Hard to lose a Patriot game, too, in that way, too.
Patriots have won enough, Matt. You didn't win
Just
enough
saying.
Super Bowls that we
The
have
running
to
back
put
was
Brady
out
off
of bounds.
there
He was out of
against a team
bounds.
that's never won anything.
Anything.
Come on. It was a
Nothing.
great
0,
performance.
none. Unfortunately, it's going to stay that way on Sunday. Sorry. Mikey, good stuff, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you joining us today.
All right, boys. See you soon. Thanks.
It's Mike Carver from Sports Grid joining us here in the Bostonian versus the Book. Great to get him on talking everything. Go check out him and Scotty.
Mad about that loss. It still gets his blood going.
Well, how could you not be angry about that loss? I mean, you had a shot.
They had that game won.
You had that game won, and you had multiple opportunities to do what you needed to do. And when you don't execute, I mean, Sean McDermott is scary. I'm not going to lie. That's a difficult thing. When he's in the pressure situations, if it comes down to a decision between the two, I don't know if people are like, yeah, that's my guy. I'm all in on Sean McDermott making the right call.
The problem, one of the things I think is not really being talked about nearly as much as maybe it should, or maybe it is, and I'm just not paying attention because I really don't consume a lot of content. We're just doing the content and then talking to people in the business. Baltimore, do they lead NFL in penalties? I think they're the most.
Yes.
I think Baltimore's the most penalized team in the league, I believe.
I think that's right.
If they're not, they're up in 1, 2, or 3.
The Jets were number 1, Baltimore number 2.
The Jets don't count. I mean, I guess they're on there, but that could be a problem. Like the game could come down to a penalty. I hope it doesn't, but
I think Lamar
the official and
I really think that there's going to be a really big problem with tackling Derrick Henry in 9-degree temperature.
Oh, that's going to hurt. Oh, my
Lord. I think seeing him is like a train, and there's going to be some business decisions being made by defensive backs. if he gets to the second level, like if it was just Lamar, I think Mike's right. I think if he doesn't really, Lamar doesn't like getting hit. In particular, doesn't like getting hit in the cold. But the problem is that Lamar isn't running the football as much as he has in past years. He's throwing the ball well more because he has Derrick Henry to go and do that now. And so because of that, that keeps Lamar fresh. When he has to run, he'll run, but he's got over 40 touchdown tosses this year. I mean, this is a guy who's been throwing the football really, really well this year. And he has the wideouts and the receivers and the tight ends to go and really hurt that secondary for the Bills.
The ability to extend the plays is one thing. The ability to extend the plays and then get the first down or just advance the chains, that's been next level this year for him. I mean, he's always been able to do it with his feet.
Yeah.
Now he's making those passes. Like, it looks like you got him, and then he makes that move where he goes across his, his body, and there's Andrews, or up to this point, there's been Zay Flowers. Like, there's just somebody open, and it continues on. So it's going to be so hard. I really think the game goes over. I'm not
really.
Yeah, I really do. Despite the cold. Now, again, I haven't seen the wind report, and yes, usually those cold games, I don't know how much it's going to affect it, if it snows or not. But when it's that cold, it don't really snow.
No, so it's too dry. It's too dry to snow. It's too dry. When it's 6 degrees, 7 degrees outside, it's too dry.
It's freezing.
Yeah, it's too dry. Literally, but it's too dry. There's not enough moisture in the atmosphere. It never gets to the ground. If it does snow, it never gets to the ground. Now, lake effect snow, you never know with that crap. I mean, that stuff just comes out of nowhere, and that's how you get the 4 feet of snow that they get sometimes in Buffalo when you have a crazy, forecast. They don't have that. They just have really cold. Yeah. So I think it does come down to the ability. James Cook they can run the football. Okay. Buffalo can run the ball too. So because of that, and Cook looked great running the football this past weekend for Buffalo. If you run the ball, that's where I lean towards the under. Cause I know the Ravens are running the football. Like that's what they're doing. They're going in there with the mindset of like, we're going to get 100 yards out of both Lamar and Henry if we can running the ball. Buffalo may need to run the ball too. That means under to me. Running clock.
I think there's going to be big plays.
In the run game? That's
whether
possible.
It's in the run game or like Baltimore still seems susceptible to big plays. I mean, like, I know they were up big against Pittsburgh, but there were 2 plays. Like, there was no one around, and they were passing plays. Russell Wilson moonball one, and then the other one was just a pass that turned into a long run. But I don't know.
We'll find out. I mean, to your point, we'll find out. The Buffalo Bills, since their bye week, defensively have been tremendous. But often, and it's rightly so, the level of competition is not exactly the Buffalo Bills offense. It's not Josh Allen. So we'll see. Do they revert back to the defense that we saw earlier in the year where they were the worst pass defense in the NFL and Josh throws all over them? And maybe Shakur and company, and they get Dawson Knox, and they get guys over the middle, and they start going to work? Or do they get James Cook going, and then that opens up the passing attack, and the linebackers have to come down and stop the run, you throw over the top? Look, Josh is incredible. He can run the football. He's their running game as much as Cook is. I cannot wait to see both Henry and Lamar and Cook as to how much effectiveness are they. And you're right about big plays, because this is what Henry does. Henry's been busting big plays all year. 60-yard runs, 50-yard runs. Like, the stiff arms just are ridiculous. The highlights. I mean, he's just a beast and a half to bring down, and he has a chance to play in a Super Bowl. He has a Super Bowl contending team now. He's going to give it his all. He's going to be incredibly difficult to bring down. So I'm excited to watch the game for sure.
The game is 51.5. Give the boys and girls a poll right now to vote on this game. The Sunday night game, Baltimore-Buffalo. You guys going over to or under to if you go 51.5 right now? And again, it's Wednesday and it's subject to change, but this is
51.5.
51.5 is the number. Seems high. It really does. But again, looking at it and I'm going, I don't know. I think over. I think we'll get way more under. Rincon, you just missed the weather portion of the show. You said, how's the weather? We got King of Car Seats said he needs us guys on the 5 p.m. news, giving my wife the weather report. We can do that too. If anyone's interested in a weather sponsorship, we'll do that as well. We can give you a weather report. We do Roll Call Friday where we check in. A lot of guys give their weather, the degrees, all that other stuff. All right. The poll is up. Total.
If you want to follow the trend, trend is once the total hits 50, once it hits 50, outdoors it goes over. Indoors. So let me make sure I'll give you the appropriate Evan Abram trend for total hit 50.
Joe the Fat Bandit says 51 is my do not ever take over number. Everyone has a number.
Okay.
Everyone has a number.
In the NFL, 50 that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot in the playoffs. That's a lot for but I mean, we've seen the Ravens and the Steeler game, these games, that game probably should have gone over, but it didn't because of what's happened with the Steelers offense. But
well, I mean, I think if it's a 10-point margin either way, like one team's down, it's going to go under. I think you need both participants to get, I mean, you have to get 24 each to get close to that number. Right. So then 27-24 is the not implied final score, but that's what it is. To get to 51. So
here is your
hold on, you froze. Pause. Stay patient. That's the Matt P. Roll thinking face right there. Hold on, snap. All right, you're back. Go ahead.
Okay. Since 2003, playoff totals of 50 or more are 20. This was going into Wild Card Weekend, so you would have to add 20, 28, 26, and 2 to the under. Okay. But if you split them up by indoor and outdoor games, flip it around. 11 and 7 to the over indoors.
Okay.
21, 14, 2 to the under outdoors.
Right.
So this game will be played outdoors.
Yeah.
But the other game in the Lions will be played indoors.
And that total
is sky high.
55.5 right now, open 56 because we needed to see how high we had to go. 56 is absurd for an NFL football game, but it's not.
Chicago Trade, Kristen, I'm going to break some news to you. It's not the only job. There's jobs in the content space where you can be way worse than 50% and still get jobs.
In the sports content space, 100%.
It's not the only job you can be wrong more than 50% of the time and keep your job.
I mean, think about people in the media all over the place, not just the weathermen. I mean, people making up stories every day.
Yeah, you keep your job. So it's not just the only one, but it is probably one of the more higher paying.
Wait a second. I mean, lawyers could be wrong 50% of the time too. They just don't get
lawyers aren't ever wrong though. Lawyers their job is to bend the conversation to fit the narrative that they want to be told.
Be careful. Chicago Kristen's a lawyer.
I know.
Just be careful.
Yeah, that's true. Lawyers
will give you a forearm shiver.
Lawyers don't have any scruples either. Lawyers in this town in particular, they'll do whatever they got to do to make it right, to make it their way. So we asked Carver the Tiger Woods story. They got smoked 12-1 last night. 12-1. Anybody care?
I mean, did you watch it?
I watched parts of it, yes. I watched the intro. The intro for Tiger was awesome.
Okay.
That was awesome. That was something we don't see that in golf where you get guys, eye of the tiger. Nobody even said Tiger Woods. It was just eye of the tiger and outwalk Tiger Woods. That was cool. That was really neat. It felt like a bowling or a dart game.
So I was on the air and I have a screen and I had it on. I think I've made this judgment from the 2 weeks so far that it's been on. If you're not watching it with audio, you're not watching it.
Correct. I would agree with that entirely.
There is zero chance. Like you can watch a game. I love watching games with no audio. That's the way
rules. You need the audio for the rules.
To be engaged.
Yeah.
You need the audio. Okay. It's a show with guys hitting a ball into a screen.
Correct. Mic'd up, talking to each other.
And that's fine. So number one, you need the audio. It's a vital part of the experience.
Agreed.
2, I don't know how much staying power it has.
On TV, I'm with you. I think in person, it has staying power. But I think as a television event, it's a big ask.
In life, you need staying power. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So do you, Chicago Kristen. I mean, staying power is huge. It's a big thing. I don't think you can really lock into that for a long time. Like the broadcast has to be.
Prime time. It feels, and I think Addison's right. It feels like a bowling event. It feels like a dart game. It feels like something you would bump into on ESPN2 at midnight. Like prime time. Like this is supposed to be like the thing to watch on a Monday night or a Tuesday night. Like this is what the number one offering is going to be. No, I do not think it has staying power.
King of Car Seat says it wears off quickly.
It does. It's neat to watch. I'll give it to you. It's cool. But the second it gets to be like in the weeds of like, the third or the fourth hole, it's like, what am I watching? Like, why am I watching this? Like, there's got to be something else to watch.
The beauty of watching golf is that the scenery changes. You're on a par 5, then you're on a par 3. You're hitting uphill. You're hitting
right.
So watching golf for a lot of people is boring as it is. Watching golf where it's the same shot over and over. And I mean, holes look different when they show the flyby. Oh, that looks awesome. Then when they go and a guy puts the tee in the ground and hits it, he hits it right into that screen again. And then you're like, all right, what'd the computer say for that? So I don't know. I want to give it a chance. And Pat said it great this morning. I watched a little bit of Pat and the boys. He said, I love watching competition and I love people putting in work for something that they're trained to do and then watching them do it, whether it's musicians, actors, golfers, this and that. But he goes, I measure a lot of things by how my wife is engaged in it. He goes, she was all hyped up to watch it. After 5 minutes, she said, is this it? And I go, that sounds like my house.
That's some good corporate spin from Pat on that. I get, I'm all in on that. I love watching excellence. I love watching somebody who is out there working on their craft, perfecting it, and then becoming the best in the world. And Tiger Woods is arguably the greatest golfer ever to walk this planet. The problem is Charlie was rolling around laughing because dad flew the green and put it in the drink. It's hard to know whether or not that was accurate. Like Tiger missed the green from 100 yards out. Like, yeah, sure. He could do that.
But it's hard. Since he's 7. Like he hadn't done that since he's 7 in real life.
Yeah. So he goes ahead and he hits it and it sails, and like literally Charlie is laughing at his father. He's like rolling around laughing at his dad because his dad put it in the drink. And right. Tiger was laughing, when that skull shot came out of the bunker, they're all laughing. Like they're not taking it all that seriously, which is pretty fun. That's different to watch as well. But that's why the staying power might not be there, because people want to see Tiger or those type of competitors be at their top. They want to watch him play Augusta. They want him to watch him play something that's amazing. Yes, Roper, I think you're right. It's questionable how accurate the screen is. That's why I won't bet on it. I won't bet on it. Well, let's get to Tommy, because obviously he bets a lot of golf.
Yeah.
So let's get his thoughts.
I'm sweating my ass off over here.
Oh, look at that. What does that say? Dear Santa, all I want is for the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
P.S. I've been good.
It's going to be it's going to be a slobber knocker this week. That's why I brought in the toughest SOB that's ever suited up.
We need him. You need everything you got.
We don't. No. Hold on. Go ahead. I'm listening to you guys. Yeah.
Did you watch this golf hitting the thing into the screen and all this other stuff? Do you like it? You're a golfer.
Yeah. So there's a couple things. First of all, Tiger would have shot 80 yesterday. So the simulation, like you were talking about, he missed the green. He flew the green 40 yards. So there's something wrong with the simulator there. There's also, for you golf nuts out there, they're hitting 8-10 footers that they're missing by this much. They don't do that on tour. They don't blow it by 8 feet from 20 feet, and they have, problems coming back. So there's a lot of problems, that need to be cleaned up there. That's for sure. Kevin Kisner was on the show last night. He literally, he doesn't even have a PGA Tour card. The other guys are hitting it 40, 50 yards by him. For you gambling nuts out there, they had minus 177 or 80 offshore. Westgate had minus $2. It was free money. The problem that you have with this is a lot of things that you guys had mentioned before. You tune in for it, it's awesome. What if it's a blowout? I mean, why are we sitting around here and playing 15 holes? It's over with, right? What are we doing here? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on for real? You know, and as you mentioned before, you know, I've been on to all the, you know, mostly the best course in the world, Augusta, the last couple of years with, you know, with whatever. That's the beauty of everything. And to see Tiger up there laughing after bad shots, you think he's laughing out on the course when, you know, really stuff is going on?
No.
So no, not at all. So this is more for the gambling type of audience. You see these people like Serena up there. It's a place to hang out. I agree with, I think, Matt, you said that in person. I think it's something that could go. And they're talking about, you know, expanding it out into either Scottsdale or out here. I think it'd be great. But, you know,
it would work. Any golf community that is diehard that has issues at 1 4-month stretch of the year. So here it would be summer, right? June, July, August. It's brutally hot. You can't, you know, people want to watch golf or go play golf and they can't do it. Building it in Vegas or Scottsdale would make a lot of sense. It's the opposite in Florida, where they have January, February, March, where you can't play. Otherwise, you know, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months out of the year, you can go out there and go play. The problem with this whole thing that they built, the roof collapsed on the thing, and so they had to wait a year because it didn't get built right. So the worry is coming here and building
Ron,
in Vegas.
You know, John, and really, John Rahm was supposed to be out there, and then he went to live, so we still have the politics bullshit. We're bringing in guys that really can't play. So, you know, when are we going to get by all that nonsense that we've had before that we're not going to get into, hopefully, today?
Right, for sure. All right, so you are obviously going to predict the Bills' victory. I want you to paint the picture. Okay. How do the Bills do it? What's the score? Are we going over or under on this game?
30-20 Buffalo. Now, there's a few things here. This is the second hardest game that we're going to have the rest of the way. I told you before that the Eagles in the Super Bowl is going to be the hardest game. This game is at home, okay? Buffalo's 9-0 this year. 9-0 this year, right? We played against them already early in the season without the number one best linebacker in all of football, number 43, Terrell Bernard, the best in football. He'll be playing. I watched Milano last week. He looked good. I've been a little bit skeptical of him coming in. He'll be out there contributing as well. Taron Johnson, one of the best slot corners in football, didn't play the game before. He'll be out there playing as well. So I like 30-20 Buffalo. I'm looking at this line, and they have Baltimore favored. I mean, I'm not sure that we're on the right planet here.
The first time ever Buffalo's been the dog at home in a playoff game.
Well, we'll see what happens when the line closes. Again, this is probably the black market getting all this plus money Buffalo and all their teaser money in early and everything they're looking to do, and then you know how it works, right, Dave?
Yep.
This whole stuff over there and whatnot. So I think it's 30-20. So there's a couple.
How do they tackle this guy? Aren't you worried about what Derrick Henry's going to do? Is he going to run through this team at all? No.
Buffalo is as healthy as we've been all year. We have everyone ready to go. The only one that potentially may not go this week is Ray Davis, that on that play last week, you know, he extended out. He's in concussion. I mean, Josh, you know, I mean, he didn't, you know, the sunlight over there, it was just a play that was a disaster. So he may not be out, but listen, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that might be a blessing in disguise. Ty Johnson is Josh Allen said, is the best third down back in football. He cannot be stopped. What are they going to put Patrick Queen on him coming out of the backfield? What's going on with this nonsense? Baltimore's defense has been playing a little bit better of late. I'll give them that. They've got a gigantic mismatch against Buffalo's offensive line. Hands down, top 3 offensive line in football, the most underrated unit in football. Detroit has a very good offensive line. Philadelphia has a very good offensive line. Buffalo is maybe better than all of them. Their defensive line, they'll be rotating 7 to 8 guys in this game on the defensive line, specifically with what you just mentioned, to stay fresh, to be tackling.
Tommy, they're outside the top 15 and stopping the run this year, though.
They've had a lot of issues. Listen, the run defense, I would say, is probably, not probably, it would be the weaker part of you know,
that's
of
what
the game.
Baltimore's going to do. They're not going to look to throw. They're going to run the ball.
And it doesn't matter. You still have to score points. You can run the ball all you want through the 20. Buffalo's red zone defense will, you know, I mean, we're going to have to, you know, be aware of certain things and whatnot. I mean, moving into injuries, which, you know, the experts, we all do that. I didn't see Zay Flowers practicing again today. He's the only one that missed, you know, practice out there. He has the ability to, you know, make us change our defense, you know, maybe put Bedford on him and try and shut him down. To me, he's been the best corner all year in the NFL. If we don't have to do that, then we can load the box more and do things there. They have tight ends that can make plays in cold, nasty conditions, specifically Andrews. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him. But the problem for Baltimore is our offensive line. How are you going to get us off the field consistently? I don't care about Henry, and I've seen Lamar's bullshit in the playoffs for years, with him back there and, his ability to read. And, even in the game last week, he looked terrible early in that game versus Pittsburgh. Awful. Josh didn't look all that fantastic early in his game either, but,
They're the number one rush defense in football. The Ravens have been all year long. You aren't going to run on the Ravens. Josh is not running on the Ravens. It's all going to be through the air.
We will run the ball on Baltimore.
Nobody has.
We will run the ball on Baltimore. There's no question about that.
Like, do you think Josh Allen rushing props over? You think he has a big game?
It depends. If they're going to come out and they're going to play man coverage, you know what I mean? Then he's going to use his legs. If they don't use man coverage and they use a lot of zone and sit underneath and do those types of things, no, I don't think that, he will specifically light them up on the ground. I do feel like our offensive line is going to be able to produce running. Now, another thing that I haven't mentioned either, this home field advantage in this game is clearly probably, if not the best in the NFL. I can't think of a better one. Nobody's really factoring that into this game.
And they're going to be lubed up.
Because the cold goes against you. It goes against the way. It's going against you guys forever. The colder it is, the worse it is for Buffalo. You guys aren't built like a true Buffalo Bills cold weather franchise.
We have not had the offensive line in the past that we have.
And you're not going to have it this game. You can't road raid the Ravens. You're not going to run over them. There's no way.
Okay. Did you watch the game last week with Denver?
Yes.
Denver's defense is a lot better than Baltimore's. So I can promise
It's not.
It's
no,
not.
On paper,
yes,
it is. For run, it's not. Number one in yards per rush. Number two in yards per game. Number two in rushes per attempts for their opponent. I mean, no one runs on the Ravens. You just don't. No one has.
Okay. Well, again, like I said before, you're coming into our building here with the best, as I mentioned before, an offensive line that can clearly do that. Do we need to run the ball all game to beat this team? I don't think so. If we get up on this team, I think Lamar's in big trouble, personally.
Why your defense pins their ears back and goes after
I think
them?
our defense is absolutely underrated. Okay, right now it's a top 7-8 unit in football. We haven't had safeties for the last month, both of them. We haven't had Rasul Douglas for 3 weeks. He didn't play. Milano was out for basically the whole season. Bernard missed games. So, I mean, you're talking about a defense for us that Sean played everything perfectly, gave as many guys off that he needed to get healthy for this point. Now, if we played a little harder, could we have maybe beat the Rams and, potentially somehow got the 1 seed? Probably not. Kansas City's lucked their ass into, their record all year. And, that's just how it is. So this is the second toughest game in the end, the rest of the way for Buffalo. Hands down, the second hardest game. But I don't think it'll be as tough as everybody thinks.
Are you worried about McDermott making a decision?
Not at all. I think Sean's
Are you good with the coaching? Seriously?
Honest to God, I truly am, because it's Josh Allen's team. He's given him the keys to the franchise. They've gone on and won games playing aggressively. I can't remember exactly the game it was where we kicked a field goal up, and I think it was the Jets, and we ended up getting a first down and won. There was another game that he played very aggressively that we came out and won the game. Sean is not. I mean, he's adapted.
He's adapted. He has.
He really has. You know what I mean? Because last year I think was it Sean's team, or is it Josh Allen's team, or is it Diggs' team, or we don't know. We know it's Josh Allen, and we know where his mindset is this year. It's clear. He's ready to go. He's back to telling everybody he just wants to be 17. That's all he wants to be. And in this game, I think that's exactly what he's going to do.
Is it chalk in the other games? Is it Detroit and Philly?
Well, I mean, so they open, me, I mean, these times of the season, these numbers are getting a little bit tighter. They open up, I believe Washington was around 8, getting 8 at Detroit. It was bouncing around 9.5, it's gone back up. I took Detroit -2 on 6-point -110 teasers early because I didn't, they'll move it up. So, I'm locked in there at -2. I've got a lot of futures on Philadelphia and Buffalo in the Super Bowl, a lot on the NFC there as well. So the Rams, to me, I played the Rams. I thought that was Minnesota, as I told you on the last show, was a complete fraud. Yep. That offensive line and that quarterback, wow, what a fraud. And your team, Dave, even worse. I mean, talk about. I agree. I told you they should have been playing Fields the whole time. I mean, Russ is a backup quarterback. You know what I mean? He's junk, and it's sad too, because they had the You know, I thought Tomlin should have been coach of the year, and I still have a lot of respect for him. But that whole thing over there was just blew right up in their face, which we kind of knew. You're welcome. And, you know, going into the Kansas City game, I bet before the season, I was really big on Houston. So I've got a lot of futures on them at like 16 AFC, which is, you know, junk market now kind of stuff, whatever. And they opened this game short. I think it was, 7.5, 8, moved down to 7. I moved right into the -1, 6-point, -10 teasers on Kansas City there as well. Dumped a lot of that kind of stuff in later with Ohio State at -1 teasers, -1.5, whatever. Yeah. So, I always like to dump stuff in later to games. I mean, I may play a little bit back on, spread Houston plus. I'm not really sure yet, but across the board, out of all the favorites or out of all the underdogs, there's only one game that's about a pick. Buffalo, I told you that I think that they take care of Baltimore this week. In the other 3 games, I mean, the Rams, I like them, but I think it's a horrible matchup for them. I think they're going to get absolutely just beat up in that game.
Terrible.
If it was in the Rams, if it was in their house, sure. They played them already this year. I mean, it's zone read with Barkley. It's a lot of problems for the Rams. They can rush the passer. I don't see them doing well there. I think the weather in Kansas City is supposed to be very cold, very nasty. The Texans have a legitimate defense. I thought
they're going to have trouble scoring.
I think so. Yeah, I think Houston's or Stroud in particular, I really think he took a big step back this year. I thought he played well in the last game, but I thought Justin Herbert was as bad as you could play last game in that game. 4 interceptions, he throws 3 all year. Could have been something with the fires over there in his mind. I don't know. To run for 0 yards in that game was completely crazy to me. But Stroud, I look at him as last year, I thought he was a John Elway type. I've seen a lot of, emotional things change with him. Now that could be Diggs in the locker room with him. I'm not even kidding you. You look at, what was it, 3 weeks ago or whatever, they played each other. It was a close game. Kansas City was up. They come back, they throw the touchdown to Tank Dell there. He breaks his leg on the play or blows his knee out, or you remember what happened. Yep. I mean, if you think about it, listen, I'm not trying to sound insensitive here. But Stroud's over him like he just lost his life. He's crying and, he's upset and stuff. Like, if I'm coaching this team, I'm getting a huddle. Listen, like, nobody's a fucking nurse here. Nobody can fucking fix him, right? You know what I mean? Get your fucking head in the game and let's try and win this. Dave, you know me. I love people and I've got a big heart for anybody. But when we're competing, I don't
playing
have time.
Football.
Yes, that's right. I don't have time for that fucking, that my language again. I know, but I don't have time for that. So I worry about his mentality in the game versus 15, the second best quarterback probably that's ever played already. Yeah. So I just, I think Kansas City gets through. I think they ultimately get to see the matchup that everybody wants with us. We'll go in there and, that's about the way I see the weekends. The total's not too much opinion.
In terms of the Bills offense, we've seen this. It's Josh Allen running, Cook running. Who's the weapon catching the football? Because Dawson Knox was the content creator's dream last week. It was Dawson Knox going to score a touchdown. He had 4 games in the wild card round where he had scored touchdowns. Everybody was on Dawson Knox touchdown. He got zip. Who's the guy making the big catches for that offense this week? Who's scoring a touchdown for Buffalo?
Yeah, I think it's Cooper. I think it's Amari Cooper in this game. And we've had the same mentality all year, to be honest with you, Matt, that everybody eats. So it's not that we need to get Coleman going, or all of a sudden we need to keep Shakir happy, or, Ty Johnson's going to torch you coming out of the backfield, or, both of the tight ends, as you mentioned. Max Hollins is one of the best blockers in football. So I really do feel like it's everybody eats type of thing. But if you are going to try and, cover up and disguise things and single up, I think Cooper's going to beat him this week, especially in those conditions over there. I don't think they'll put, Marlon Humphrey. He'll be moving around or whatever. Hamilton's obviously their superstar in the back end back there that I'm not exactly sure what they'll do with him yet. Queen and the guys in the middle. But like I mentioned before, I expect our offensive line to take care of it. And, the key to me in this type of game, as it always is, and, for what with Buffalo is Joe Brady has been, doing a really good job. Obviously, you see he's starting to get, some looks at head, coaching. Get the plays in early. That's all I ask. Get the plays in early to 17. Just please get them in. Let him make sure that, I'm watching some of these other games, and it's, even like the Eagles that, you're snapping with 2 on the clock again. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Get the play calls in quicker. Yeah. You could slow the game down. They've got to come in faster. Let Josh do what he needs to do, and Josh will prove why, as I mentioned before on the last episode, that he is by far the best player in the game, period.
You've said that many times. We appreciate you coming on the show. Last one for me, sir. Furman was supposed to come on with you as well.
I saw him at the gym last week for the first time in a month. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So, but he heard that the lip was coming on, so he moved his appearance to Monday. He said, I'll be on with you Monday. So he was a little nervous coming on.
He's always nervous.
He's nervous a lot.
He's always nervous. He hasn't learned. Here's something for all you fans too. All right. There's a lot of, you get your guys and your girls. So, I mean, this might be, the kids probably this stuff or whatever, earmuffs. Don't let them, but anytime that you're nervous, which is normally a good thing, it's anxiety and nerves are different. The anxiety is something you probably don't want. The nerves are something that you want. Right. All you need to do is go take care of yourself. You will, I guarantee that you will feel more comfortable when you come back.
Relax, right? Just go for a walk.
No details. It's hot as shit in here. Right. I'm wearing pants. These are coming off soon. These are coming off soon. I mean.
Listen, you've held them on long enough. We appreciate it. And thank you for making that as PG as you possibly could. So Will, our producer back in New York, is probably going, I'm glad he didn't say it. But yeah, go relax.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where
plan on it.
Are you watching the game?
Yeah, so I'm up in the air. I've got a couple things. I went over to a dear friend's house of mine that, he lives in house, and, he's, somebody that I've known 40 years. So, we watched the game together. My buddy that we all grew up with, we went over there. I did just put in a call over to Westgate potentially to entertain down there as well, too.
Okay.
I've got to get the okay first, know what I mean, from these guys. I mean, you got a lot of pull or whatever. I mean, I still haven't, John Murray that I love, the legend. I haven't seen him. I got to bring in a bottle of bourbon for him still.
Yeah.
I asked what he wanted. And anybody, somebody said, no. I've known him since he was writing my tickets back in the day. John's the legend. He's put his time in, and he don't big time anybody, whether it's you or it's a $2 customer. So that's what I love about him and those guys over there. So there is potentially come down to the Westgate this week.
We might have to put a camera on you.
Oh my!
Yeah, absolutely.
In this game? Yeah. My goodness gracious!
I'll shorts. Now I'll probably wear the pants for that. Yep.
Might be chilly.
The Zumbas, the Bill Zumbas.
Yeah, I love those Zumbas. Oh, you could rip the shit out of the pants. You could tie them around your head.
Yes.
You can, remember the Road Warrior where tie him here? You can put it everywhere. I love it. So, before you guys are going to boot me, and I like that, but honestly, I would like your opinion on the Bills game, both of you guys, Fest.
I have a future on the Ravens. I've been on the Ravens from the beginning. I'm on 27-24 Buffalo.
Bills and over. I'm on Bills and over.
Okay, so you're both on Buffalo and the over. They had this guy that I know, he's selling these body bags, and I wasn't sure your height, so I'll tell him I don't need him for this week.
I'm on the Ravens.
Okay.
I said Ravens. He said
on the Ravens.
27-24. You said 27-24 Buffalo.
Ravens. No, it's 27-24
You said
Ravens.
Buffalo. I fucking heard you say Buffalo, man.
Did I say? I confused myself. I'm sorry.
Did. Now you're changing it.
I said I'm on the Ravens for the Super Bowl. I have a 12-1 ticket, and I'm winning the Super Bowl. I'm on the Ravens to beat the Bills. I'm on the Ravens to beat the Chiefs.
I know. Yeah, I'll get one of those body bags just in case, man. We love you, but you know what I mean. You got to be careful what you say these days.
I'm sorry. It's just one of those things. The cold weather is going to work against you guys again. You're built like a West Coast team. You've been built like a West Coast team for a long time.
17, baby. I'm going to bring the whole way with us.
Enjoy it, my friend. Good to see you.
Love
that
it.
Is Tommy Lippert joining us here on the Boston versus the book.
Unbelievable.
Lippert's, well, it's amazing because people are saying that he has the innate ability for people who have bet the Bills who want the Bills to lose now.
Right? I mean, he's original. That's where he's from. I mean,
they want the Bills to lose now. It's pretty good. It's like I can't believe this guy's making me want the Bills to lose.
Right? Boy, you watch a game with him.
Oh, we have.
And he might have a 5-figure wager on it. And when it's Bills, it's like, oh man, it's tough. Oh yeah.
Have a future on the Bills winning the AFC, hoping I lose it now.
What does that even mean, CBW? He's one of your people.
He's turned them against it all.
Very confident. He must, take care of himself all the time.
Oh my gosh, please we stop that. My gosh. That's my gosh. Yeah, it's not Tommy the lip.
I had no idea what he was gonna say. I was worried there for a second.
Tommy the mouth. Yeah. Look, I give Bills fans a lot of credit because they've seen a lot of crap football. Their team has stunk and broken their heart. And you ride with them, you give them credit. If they win, I'll shake his hands. Congratulations. Go on, beat the Chiefs. And look, I don't care who wins this game on all reality, as long as one of them beats KC next week. So as long as that happens, but I think the Ravens have a better chance of doing so than the Bills do.
That's fair.
So
I think that's fair.
I think the way that the Ravens play football have a better chance of big plays and getting out 2-3 scores on Kansas City in Kansas City. And then that's all she wrote. The Chiefs are not coming back down 3 scores to anybody. They don't have the offense to do it this year. So who can get up big enough that KC cannot come back from it? You can't just beat the king here. You have to take him down off the throne and stick a stake into his heart and jump on it. Like you gotta kill them. Like you can't just beat the Chiefs. They got to be dead, buried, and gone in a football game if you're going to knock them out of the playoffs at home.
It has to happen that way. Like you're not going to beat. If anybody was going to beat him last second, it would have been that game that we talked about with Carver. It would have been that game. They should have won that game, and they
should have won that game. Absolutely.
And there's like you got to go and you got to.
The Chiefs are a vampire, Vinny. They are a vampire. That's what they are. They're the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They've had multiple lives. Like there's no shadow when they walk in front of the mirror. Like they're just they're so lucky, and they get so many breaks. Teams make stupid decisions. Referees give them big calls. It cannot come down to one possession with the Chiefs. It cannot be a one possession game. You have to kill them. And I think the Ravens have a chance to do that. Not sure with the Bills.
I don't know. I can't wait. I mean, it's like Sunday is going to be amazing. Saturday is going to be good. I think Saturday will be sneaky better than people are thinking. The lines. What is this? Randy Poss. I just played money line. Kansas City, Lions, Ohio State, bet 300 and get back 1,300. So that's plus 350.
Are you serious? How is that plus 350, Dave? For a 3-leg money line parlay? That's 9.5, 9.5, and 8.5.
I mean, if the 1,300 counts the 300 thing
coming back, so it's win 1,000.
325. It's plus 325. If 300 to win 1,000.
That seems really high. That's a money line play, or is that a? Yeah, it's money line.
It says money line. Yeah, put that.
What
in.
the?
Yeah.
How does that lose?
I don't know. I don't think it does.
Oh my. I'm going to see I'm just going to do a quick FanDuel thing to see what FanDuel would pay you to do that. FanDuel would pay you minus. See, I don't understand. It's minus 120 at FanDuel for that. How is that possible? That doesn't make that's impossible.
Okay.
That can't. I was like, there's no way that's Ross. Like, I mean, Randy, like, what is that? You played it with the spread? You can't play that.
No, the spread is 6-1, 6.5 to 1. 3-game parlay with the spread is 6.5.
Yeah, that doesn't. I agree.
That doesn't look right. Yeah,
no, because it's not right. It's wrong. Okay. That's wrong. Like, there's no way. I'm like, right. Timeout. I was like, these are minus 400 favorites. How are you getting a 3-1 return on that? Like, timeout. Like 3, 5, 6-leg parlay. Okay, maybe I might buy it.
Just there has to be something else in there.
No. That's not possible. Sorry. Come on. We deal in reality here. Let's Randy, what is that? Like, I would love it. You tell me, yes, maybe I need to go back and check. Yes, Randy, maybe you need to go back and check the bet you just made.
Not right.
That's not right. Because if that's the case, tell me the book and I'm gonna follow you right now. I'll make the same play. Because that's ridiculous to come and clear $1,000 off a $300 bet with those 3 teams that are all going to win.
Right.
Yeah. He played it week 1, 2025. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe he's got the Biff's Almanac. He's flipping through. He bet it. 2 weeks ago. Nobody knew what was
Mooch.
going on.
Timmy Mooch is in the chat. He said, Houston shocks the world this week. Everybody and their mothers betting the Chiefs. Everybody and their mothers betting everybody.
Money line? You
I
want
don't know,
Houston
Mooch.
money line?
That's a big reach.
Money line?
Kansas City off a bye, blah, 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 blah,
Tim,
blah, 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 blah.
From your fingers to the world. I would love to see it happen. Make the universe, make it so. Nobody will be a happier person than me if that happens.
Monday will be unbearable.
I'll be ecstatic if
Monday
that
will be
happens.
unbearable, yeah.
But I'm not even going to tell you that the Houston Texans. I mean, maybe I should bet the Texans, considering my track record of betting Texan games is so poor. Maybe that's one way I could curse the Texans into winning.
I think you should bet the Chiefs.
That's what I mean. I bet the Chiefs and then Texans win. Bet Chiefs money line and the Texans blow it.
You have to do a money line if you do it. You can't lay 7.5 because they'll win by 4.
Money line.
Yeah. If you lay 8.5. Yeah.
And we confirm that their mother is actually on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They are.
I know my mom is not. I can tell you that.
Yes, everyone on this. All right. We have a lot of people in Detroit. I'm going to give you guys your comeuppance here for this. The Pistons, Red Wings, and Lions record combined in 2025 is 13-2.
The Red Wings lost yesterday to the Sharks, though.
6-3. They got smoked, but they had won 7 of 8.
Yep.
I told you when you were like, bet the Red Wings like it's against the Sharks. No way am I touching that. But Red Wings and Pistons are both over 500. The Lions are the number 1 seed in the NFC.
And the Tigers are coming off a playoff.
And the Tigers are coming off in a playoff appearance.
Yeah.
Things are pretty good in the 3-1-3.
It's fun when your teams are good, let alone all around, all year round. I mean, the King of Car Seats said it yesterday about Minnesota, and it's just a perpetual, year-long cycle, 4 teams there, and it can't win. It's fun when all the teams are winning. This is good. Are the Pistons going to make the playoffs?
They're both over 500, and they both have real, legitimate chances of making the postseason. Yeah. And the Red Wings and Pistons have been the laughingstock of both leagues forever. Well, the weather does suck. That's true. But okay. You're living in Michigan in the winter. It's like far from the court. It's like someone bitching about living in Maine. It's like you can't bitch about the weather in Maine. Can't bitch about the weather in Michigan. It's January. It's cold.
I got to get out. We had some guys put in a couple orders for the hats with the Detroit stuff. I got to get those out for you guys.
Well, those
tomorrow.
are you. Who designed that? You or Corbin? The 3-1-3.
Me.
Because that looks the 3-1-3 in the back, and the Lions Honolulu blue on the back.
It's sick.
Because I'm copying.
Sick. Nice.
I'm copying that, and I'm gonna do a Celtics and Red Sox one. I'm gonna do a 6-1-7 in the back.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm doing that for Boston for the Red Sox hat that I'll make coming up here, or for our Celtics hat, depending on what happens with the playoffs.
Right.
Boston.
Yeah.
But that's a cool trend. I like that idea.
Yeah.
You gotta have the right hat.
Correct.
You can't have like a snapback hat. You got to have a fitted hat that can hold that stitching.
Yeah, or if you get the snapback, you can put it on the side too.
Yes.
Like we experimented. I got one done with the side thing, but the kids been doing.
I like that a lot. That's cool because we did that with Brooks for his hats. We've done that with the 18 times for the Celtics hats.
Yeah.
Chicago Brigade for that. I like that a lot when I put it on the side panel. It looks cool.
The kids been getting creative. I got to get that done. I got the last Bet Rivers thing today. We do a closing show thing, and then I'm done with that. We got the contest done with that, so now I can focus on getting that other stuff out. But the weather sucks in Detroit, but the teams are good. This is fun.
Where is Bet Rivers has brick and mortars, right?
They are in. Yes, I mean they have a place in Michigan. They have a place in Illinois, I believe. I mean, that's where the corporate is. And then big presence in Pennsylvania, Eastern PA, as well as Western PA. I mean, it's the Rivers Casino.
Brick and mortar.
Yeah, it's a Rivers Casino.
Okay.
So it's all Bet Rivers stuff.
Because this spring, when you go to watch Felician play, we got to figure out, like I know you're watching this show right now, our friends at Bet Rivers. Like, you just gave us so much gear. Bring us to do a live show from Philly, from Bet Rivers. Like, it's such a quick little jump down for you in Jersey. For me, if I'm up in Boston, whatever, it's a quick little rundown.
Yeah.
Not hard to do. Take an Amtrak or a flight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing. Southwest, just hop on it and bang, we're right there for you. Would be a drive of what from 2 hours, 3 hours
For where?
Philly, from northern Jersey down to Philly.
No, it's an hour and 10 minutes.
So it's nothing. So it's
it's easy.
It's a bus or a trip. Yeah. Like we got to figure that out. We got to figure that out. And now people are saying, Dave, people are texting into the text line asking for that 313 hat.
I know.
More orders are coming.
702-570-8255. I know that's a text.
Yeah. More orders are coming in for the hats.
I know. I got to
text it in for the hats. So we got people who
what if Washington wins? Then they're not going to wear it. That's a bad thing.
I think
Can Washington win?
No.
Oh, just outright no chance?
No chance. They have no shot. Not to win the game. They may put a scare into the Lions, but I actually think they're going to get killed.
I think the Lions are going to have so much success running the ball. Like there's going to be just
where did David Montgomery come back? Like who gave him Tiger's blood? Like what the David Montgomery blew his knee out. He was done for the year. He was a full participant at practice yesterday. Like what the hell? Now you got them both. You have Montgomery and you have Gibbs.
That's why when you said that about the to score a touchdown prop.
Yep.
I didn't think that was even possible. I thought the price was $420 because the other guy wasn't playing.
Oh.
And then you said that the other guy, Montgomery, was minus what?
300? It was 420 and 330. Gibbs was 420. Montgomery was 330.
Is it still that high? Can't be that high. Nobody's betting that.
I mean, I don't know what's the number today. How far down have we gone today? Let's see. For that game, anytime touchdown scorer, minus 230 for Gibbs, minus 165 now for David Montgomery. Okay. So they've adjusted dramatically.
Those numbers were,
but they're creeping up though. People are betting them.
I mean, we appreciate you guys watching the show in the risk room. I didn't mean to call you out and say those numbers were too high, but I never would have put those numbers up. If it was our joint, I'd have said, listen, we ain't going to take no bets on that, and everybody's going to make fun of us. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe it didn't, but.
Are they going to keep Jaden in the pocket? Well, I think I love the passing attack for the Commanders, and I think Daniels can beat them with their arm. I think McLaurin has had such an incredible year with contested catches. He's been phenomenal. They've had really good weapons out wide. The question I've got is, can they run the ball? If they can't run the ball, they're dead because they're going to pin their ears back and they're going to blast Daniels. But if they can run the ball, then play action comes into play. Then they can throw the football and they can move the ball.
Yeah. The lip popped in the chat. Look at this, Dave. By the way, you look unbelievable, cocky. U0026 confident.
I don't know what that means.
Listen, the guy talks in code all the time. I love the lip, but sometimes he got his own language.
That
the
looks
guy's
like
out
own language,
taking care of himself and hitting golf balls all the time. He was supposed to be here last week. He couldn't make it because he's out entertaining and golfing. The guy's working on his golf game all the time. If he's not stretching and doing all that other stuff, yoga. He's really in touch with himself. I mean, literally in touch with himself. How about that? I didn't even mean it. Sometimes it just goes boom, boom, right out. Will didn't even need to work with that one. Man. Yeah, no shot for the Commanders. Number 2 teaser option, Washington, but that's why the number's what it is. Because, I mean, it's literally combined with everything.
11 people are here and they just stand outside my door. Like if I don't answer my door, it means I'm not coming to my door. They've been sitting there knocking on the door for the last 5 minutes. Like I'm not
home.
I'm not home. Like we're busy. We're not entering the door.
Are they digging for the leak?
Not yet. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know, but they can't. They are under strict orders to not do it until 2 p.m. Pacific. So
we'll be done in 20 minutes. It can start at 1. Tell them.
Yeah. So we'll do it
out of
later.
the way.
I don't know. Stop knocking on the door.
Addison said, "Let me in, Matt."
The Rams and the Eagles number is pretty solid. It hasn't moved. It's 5.5 at one spot offshore, but everyone else in the world at 6.
Yep.
Why? This is a teaser number, so why is it staying at 6?
It's perfect. you saw what the Rams just did.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that narrative talk,
Okay.
whatever it is, that the Rams are, again, playing for something bigger than themselves. They have all this momentum, and they lost bad the first time they played, so they bounce back and go find a way to win a game on the road in the cold. Okay. So the number stays what it is. You're not moving this lower because you just said it. Lip just said it. We had on somebody yesterday with me and Wetzel, and they came on and said, I think it was Zeno, and Wetzel agreed it's a really bad spot for the Rams. Monday night game, all that tumult and turmoil and everything else, and then they got to fly across the country, play an early game. It's not early, but it's 3 o'clock Eastern, but a day early messes up the routine, and it's going to be frigid.
I'm not worried about that as much as I am worried about the travel and worried about cross country. Goroff likes money line Rams.
Money line Goroff.
Look, I'm cheering for the Rams. I would love to see it. I just think, which is more likely, a Rams win or an Eagles blowout?
Oh, I think an Eagles blowout by 10 or more.
I agree.
I think that's more. I think that's very possible.
I agree. It feels like it's going to be a house job. Like it's a lot because of what Saquon did in the first matchup. I don't know if the Eagles are going to have to throw the ball much. If they can just run the ball, they're running them off the field. Like they're just going to run them, 100, 150 yard rushing for Saquon Barkley, and that's it.
The Rams got to Darnold with 4 guys. Yeah. They rushed 4 guys the whole game. Every once in a while, they threw a blitz.
That's the Vikings' offensive line. It's not the Eagles' line is one of the best in football. If
they ain't going to be able to rush 4 guys and get the pressure. The only way they win is if they get that pressure on passing downs, force Jalen off the field, or making a mistake. But man, oh man, like the
people are questioning Jalen Hurts. They don't lose with AJ Brown on the field. They don't lose.
I don't know. It's just don't know how the physical matchup. Again, football comes down to it all the time. You don't mean to dumb it down and you sound like everybody else, but that's the truth. The offensive line, if it's that much better, if the offensive line for the Eagles is the best unit on the field, this is a double-digit win. It's a double-digit win.
And Stafford is 1-2 straight up on the road in the postseason. So, this is a tough ask. Going to Philadelphia, it's a tough ask. I don't know if the Eagles are knocking off Russ, but it's a decent point. Yeah. Tune-up game. Get back. The concussion now Hurts will probably be better. You figure that A.J. Brown will have a much bigger role in the offense, but it was 10-0 at the break, and it felt like it was 100. So that defense is playing so well. I love their secondary. I love Cooper DeJean. I love the fact that they've got guys who Blankenship and company will just come on and take your head off.
Yeah.
They're a fun team to watch. They're a fun team, and I don't think Tommy's nuts. Like the physicality of the Eagles makes them a very difficult team, and I could see them winning in Detroit. Yes.
Oh, I don't want to allow myself to think about the next one. Like because we used to do this and we'd have numbers ready to go. You already know what the number is for Eagles Detroit. If it's, that you already have the number prepared. If it's Eagles and Washington, if it's Rams Washington, I guess you're ready. But if that happens, you just throw it up. Rams will have home field. They'll be. The NFC Championship would be in LA. Think about that.
It's amazing.
I would think they would be ready to play there next week. Right, they'd find a way to play the game there.
Yeah, I think you're right, Stevie. I think you can lay the 6. I think it's Eagles money line, Eagles -6. Both plays that I
type it in the chat. Who do you guys like? Just type it in the chat. We got a poll going right now that's really interesting because it's literally dead even. Leave it.
I just pulled it.
Did you? I was going to say keep that up.
50-50. Literally 50-50.
It's a good number. 51.5. Well, we got all them votes, and it fell right in the middle. That's pretty good.
50-50.
Does anybody think that the Rams are going to cover? That's what I want to know in the chat right now.
I don't. The teaser special. Pull the Eagles down.
Man.
Eagles money line and then play off of it. Do whatever. I mean, Eagles money line, Bills, Bills +7. I like a lot.
How does that game not fall in the teaser number for either?
Right.
And Tommy's right. That's what they're doing. I mean, they take the plus on the one side. They drive one game up, and then it's coming back. I just click refresh. Circa's at pick. First one to move. Back to pick. So it'll probably come back depending on – I mean, I don't know what news could happen between now and Sunday that would, move the money back other than they just need to get the teaser. Like, if the game falls in the middle for Sunday, if you're betting one game this week, it's that one, is it not?
I guess.
I mean, it's the Super Bowl of the season up to this point, and it's the Sunday night game.
It's the hardest game to bet. That's the hardest.
It's a very hard. It's the hardest game, but it's an even spread. So, I think JC from KC put it out yesterday because CBW tagged us in the fact that the Sunday night game last week was the most watched game of the week, over 29 million
views.
It
will be again
because of the gambling. And I always say it's not just because of the gambling, but this Sunday night game is going to eclipse that number.
Yes.
If you're watching one game, if you're betting one game, it's this game.
Every Sunday for the next, because the AFC game is going to be the game afterwards. It's going to be the late game next week. Chiefs, Bills. Yeah, Chiefs, Bills, or Chiefs versus Ravens is going to be the afternoon. It's going to be the evening game.
Oh, in Kansas City, yeah.
It's a massive game.
Because the other game will be in either Detroit or Philly.
Yeah.
So it'll be
massive
that'll
game.
be the early game, the East Coast game, and then they'll go to the West Coast game or the late game in Kansas City. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be stupid. Is it going to be a massive?
Can you imagine if Kansas City loses?
Yes.
Well, if they do, whoever wins that game is automatically the favorite by far to win the Super Bowl. No, they get a home game.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, I don't think to win. I don't think to win the Super Bowl. I don't think it's automatic that way. Eagles and Lions still have a very, very, very good conversation point to win it all.
Well, no, I know, but you don't know which one it's going to be.
Well, right, you're going to eliminate one of them.
Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl if they host Houston.
Yes.
Baltimore's going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Wait. Baltimore would have to – no, Baltimore would host them.
Yeah, they won.
They're the three, yeah.
Yeah.
Baltimore's going to the Super Bowl.
The winner of Bills-Ravens is determined upon the Chiefs losing or winning. If the Chiefs lose, both those teams will host. They both won their divisions.
But that's what I mean. That's why they become the favorite, because one of them are in.
For sure.
Philly can go to Detroit and win. Hate to say it, 313.
They can.
Philly can go to Detroit and win.
I mean, Tampa went to Detroit and won.
Different team, different time.
Different team, different time. They still did it. I mean, it's not like they're invincible at home. I mean, they can be beaten at home. They've lost games where you're like, wait, how did you lose that game?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it was Commanders-Ravens in the Super Bowl?
No.
It'd be neat. Be neat for that part of the country. Eagles-Ravens equally is fun for that part of the country.
Eagles-Ravens.
Yeah, that's a fun.
I've seen that game already, though.
Not in a Super Bowl, we haven't.
No, but the bird battle. We used to say that all the time.
But that's, talking about
Falcons-Ravens or Eagles-Ravens. We need a bird battle in the Super Bowl.
The whole entire region, southern Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, Northern Virginia, that whole area would be on fire.
Be great, too, because the game's in New Orleans, so the East Coast, that'll be an East Coast Super Bowl.
Yep.
But everybody west of the Mississippi would be like,
Right. Okay.
What's the Washington, D.C.? 202 area code? I'm going to have to check that.
That's
think it's
DC.
202, right? Yeah.
Yep. 212 is New York. 202 is D.C.
Right. Yeah. Listen, if it's that, we'll have to get 202 hats, man.
God, can you imagine Texans, Commanders? Oh, God. Oh, boy. That
is
click. Everybody
will your wrench capabilities
so
after suggesting that.
He's so mad. All right, to college basketball. Number 2, Iowa State is hosting KU tonight. Numbers down to 5. Money coming in here on Kansas. Opened up at 6.5. Total is 142.5. I think Iowa State's the best team in the country.
But they don't cover tonight, right?
I do think they cover tonight.
Oh, really?
They hate Kansas. I think KU's fraudulent.
Whoa. Really?
I bet them against Creighton. I think they're fraudulent. They've stunk on the road. And they're going to Hilton tonight.
Right.
You want to see a college basketball environment? Hilton Coliseum tonight is going to be bumping. It's going to be a fun place to be tonight.
What time's that game start? Let's see. Kansas, Iowa State. Oh, it's early. Huh.
Yeah. Not early for us. Not early.
Well, I
for
mean,
them.
4 o'clock Eastern or 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. So I was hoping it was in the late window.
6 p.m. for
local
Central time.
Yeah. First thought is to take the dog. I have no idea. Under? This is high for an Iowa State game, no?
Potentially. Just KU wants to play fast. So that's always if you like KU, you like the over.
Okay. Yeah. First thought is dog.
Adam, that doesn't, the big call Croatian dude shooting threes, it doesn't bother me. It's the point guard play that I think is the biggest difference for Iowa State tonight.
Huh.
I like the guard play a lot for Iowa State over KU.
I like that big A, Adam. The capital A.
Everyone hates KU. This is the number 1 ticket. This is what everybody who's wearing an Iowa State jersey, shirt, hat, whatever. This is the ticket. If it's not Iowa, if you're playing at Iowa City, you want the KU ticket.
Look at this. Gramke is in the chat. He said, I was at Kansas UC this weekend, and Kansas looked awful in the win. My money's on Iowa State tonight. There you go. That dog gets me every time, Gramke. That dog and that avatar gets me every time.
Dickinson's not very good. Hunter Dickinson is another one of these players, another one of these guys who are
the hype.
No, they're NIL comfortable. Like they like being in college because they're getting paid and they're the big man on campus. They're not working because they don't care if they play in the pros or not. Dickinson's just lazy. Some nights he's unbelievable. Some nights he can't do anything. Tonight's one of those nights. I don't expect him to do anything. Yep, he's Charmin soft. Absolutely.
Wow.
He's Charmin soft. I agree. Yeah, he'd be lucky to get a call from the G League. Yep.
Wow.
I agree. So
can that be attributed to youth?
No. It's money.
I mean,
got a lot of money to go to KU. They paid him
saw
big time.
A big change in Kalkbrenner from last year to this year.
Kalkbrenner's still soft as can be.
Is he?
He was shooting threes like crazy last night. I was like, what are you doing? But he was hitting them. So it's like, great. Now he's going to fall in love with that. They won by 20 last night. Only bet I got wrong last night was Creighton played their asses off. Providence couldn't buy a bucket to save their life. It's like, what is going? And they're shooting threes. Kalkbrenner shooting threes. But I mean, okay. Let's see.
Should have done the B squared play on Illinois yesterday. I knew that was good.
What an easy win that was. That was
God almighty. Are they good? Are they real?
Yes.
I think they're legit real.
Yep. They're going to be a big problem in the Big Ten tournament. I don't want to start
with, the Big Ten, this, that, whatever. Llisten, Illinois is a good basketball team, and they 100%. Look like they are legit.
I love Brad Underwood. Brad Underwood, I told you stories. Brad Underwood, when he was at Stephen F. Austin, he was the one negotiating a deal with me from the radio station that I was working for in Houston. I wasn't dealing with anybody else. It was me and Brad Underwood. We were just talking because no one did jack for him at Stephen F. Austin. So I'm a big fan of his. I like him a lot. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Illinois is a team that when you watch them on the road, at home, it may not be, the Orange Crush is not really what it used to be. It used to be you go to Illinois, you can't win there. It's a little easier to play there now. On the road, they are really good on the road.
Yeah.
Really good on the road. And then the fight that happened, Indiana, it's just got big problems in Indiana basketball right now. Big problems. They got crushed. Yeah. Other game in the SEC tonight, Tennessee, Georgia.
Pretty fun big number.
Huge number. Probably rightfully so.
Oh, Tennessee here?
Yeah, probably rightfully so. Yeah. 11-point win according to KenPom. This game is a dead under, in my opinion.
Let's see. Weird start time for this, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. It's in that middle spot.
Knoxville's Eastern time, right?
1:33?
I got a better number than that, but yeah.
1:33, that's it? Ooh.
Georgia's 5-0 to the under on the road this year. 3-0 in the SEC to the under.
Under better than the side? You like?
Yeah, because it's a big number.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, it's dog and under. Just listening.
Dog and under. I like the under. I'm more Tennessee might crush them. This number is interesting, and I wanted to ask B-How why. It's a big number for Houston. I know it's Houston, but it was 17.5 last night. Now it's 16.5. D-Rock's team on the road. I don't know. To get annihilated like this?
How are they going to score? They're going to
Breeze?
get, I mean, they may get, yeah, but they may not get another rebound. Like it may be a lot of one and done trips down the floor.
100%.
And if they don't make, they could get run completely out the building. 124?
Yes.
Is the total in this game?
With a spread of 17, 16.5.
Oh, this is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
You're like, what?
Oh, here we go with these totals with this Houston. Like this used to be reserved for Houston and Wisconsin, making the totals for their games. You'd be like 115, 118 pregame, just to start low. Because this is an in-game play. Start this game under 123.5. And then if it starts slow at all, it'll drop to 110, 108. And you'll be able to go over, and they just make it over, 100 to the point where you get a nice middle. That's the way to play that game.
We'll get to hockey. Shout out to anybody who's watching us on Amazon Prime. I got a DM from somebody last night that he said he watches our breakdowns of games every night on Amazon Prime.
How about that?
I was like, oh, okay. It was pretty cool. So if you guys are watching on Amazon Prime, we appreciate you. We like to see different avenues, different people watching in different places. It was cool to see. He's like, I like when you and Dave break down games.
It's part of the growth of the show is learning where everybody's consuming the show, because we don't really know. Like we know where you're watching here on the YouTube or on the Twitter live.
Yeah.
But apparently way more people watch the replay on various platforms or listen to the show after, which is great. So we're trying to direct growth in those areas. So the more you guys tell us, the more we know, and can try to continue to improve and grow this thing and, keep it going for 2025, because it legitimately is me and Matt. Again, if you're watching the show, it's true. There's no gremlins helping behind. There's no one else booking the appointments. There's no one else cutting the clips. It's Matt and myself. We're hiring as soon as we can. You guys are hired. We already got wrenches. It's good.
2 hockey games tonight. That's it. Hurricanes at the Sabres. Both road teams are favored tonight.
Yeah.
Heavy favorites tonight.
Yeah, it looks like chalk tonight.
Chalk.
Yeah.
Oilers too.
Is that right?
Yep.
Why is that so high?
Oilers are killing people.
Who's playing net? Wow. Gustafson's playing net. Okay. I don't have it confirmed, but that's excessive. The Oilers always beat the Wild, though. There's something up with matchups or something. That's one of them that the Oilers, I'm sure Wetzel will have it tonight on the grid. He has these head-to-head trends. He has a site that he uses.
It's tough to bet the NHL, Adam.
Oh, underscore the Adam. I retired from NHL betting a month ago. I've lost my ass. Not one of the body parts you want to lose.
Nope, but not the only one to do that. So
right.
You parlay them both for plus 121. All right. Chalk on hockey. If you want to go that route, get a little plus money in that. Knicks are at the Sixers, ESPN nationally televised game here on this one. Line 7.
Throw the Knicks money line in there if you'd like.
Right.
You're not losing to the Sixers. Although, is anybody playing tonight for the Sixers? Because nobody
Who knows?
played.
We're too far out from tip to know.
Right.
There's been so many last hour scratches in the NBA in the last 2 weeks. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
People are getting really bent out of shape.
I said it last night on the show. Betting the NBA pregame – 'It was hard enough. But, 'It was hard enough. But, 'It was hard enough. 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 'It was knowing who's playing is just as hard to pick winners, like in the games when you don't know, you don't have all the information. I think NBA betting is going to be the sport, or maybe already is the sport that benefits most from in-game wagering.
Oh, okay.
Because you cannot bet it pregame. You can still bet a baseball game and then not watch it or participate in live betting. It's fun. Baseball betting is great because of the time. Football is king for period, everything.
Yeah.
Hockey, if I know the goalies and I'm pretty good with the injury information and whatever, like you can still bet the game pregame and feel confident in your bet. You may not be right all the time, but man, the NBA, no, can't do it.
It's hard. It's really hard just because of the scratches and who plays and, not play, just the coach's decisions. And, you get the whole Jimmy Butler situation. It's crazy. It really is.
Mess.
Nick's going to crush the Sixers. Maybe
they are. Nicky, you don't have to apologize. They're 100% going to win the game. 100%.
Rockets at Nuggets, game of the night.
Fun game.
2:30 total.
I feel like it's a bargain on Denver.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like this is a bargain on Denver. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Houston's been very good, but Denver looked pretty damn good against the Mavericks.
12-6 on the road, the Rockets this year.
I know.
Denver's 12-7 at home. Denver's won 3 out of 4. Rockets have won 4 in a row.
I feel like it's a bargain on Denver. And maybe
interesting.
That's a bad thing. I don't know.
First of
I've been on Houston
meetings.
What's that?
First of 3 meetings this year.
I don't know. Do you like a side?
No. In game this.
Yeah, for sure.
In game this.
There'll be 12 lead changes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then finally, Magic at the Bucks.
Oh, this is interesting. Magic. No?
Look, Orlando is 23-18. Milwaukee is 21-17. 9-11 on the road versus 13-7 at home. So I would lean towards. I like the Bucks money line more than I like laying 6 with the Bucks.
Yeah,
these teams have played 2 times so far. The Bucks have won both games, 1 by 5 and 1 by 3.
That's what I mean. Close game. I think that's why I said automatic take points.
Yeah,
Bucks are getting right. The Bucks, was that last night? Yeah, they smoked. Was Sacramento? They beat Sacramento last night. They were only 2-point favorites.
Yeah, 130-115 at home.
And they were up the whole game.
Yeah.
They were up the whole game. That was one of the really good plays yesterday. That's why I think Bucks or Magic today. Dog. I got a game I think is very entertaining, and I think I'm intrigued by the line. Memphis -3 or 2.5 at San Antonio.
Spurs off the game last night against the Lakers, right? Or two nights ago against the Lakers. Against the Lakers.
Yeah.
I probably like Spurs.
Feels like home dog.
Yeah, I like the Spurs here at home against
Feels
the Grizzlies.
like home dog, and I love Memphis. I think Memphis is going to be a problem come playoff time.
Third game on the road trip, just lost to the Rockets. 3-game losing streak overall.
Yeah. That feels like a Spurs play, boys. Just keep an eye on that one. Miami and the Lakers is a mess game later. How the Lakers laying 5? I mean, I know Miami's a complete mess, but how the Lakers laying 5?
Complete mess. Like complete mess.
Oh my Lord.
Complete.
You guys are laying Celtics laying 2 touchdowns and a half at Toronto.
No, thank you. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Boston's 14-4. Raptors are 8-13. We got to start fading the Raptors on the road. They have 1 win on the road all year.
Yeah.
1. Like just every time they're on the road, just put them in a money line.
Is this one of those non-interested efforts from the Celtics? Like win by 11?
Yes.
Some ridiculous thing happened. Like they're never in doubt, or they're even trailing after the first quarter or something ridiculous. Like I saw the line last night and I said, oh, this is going to, I thought of you in my head and I went, not interested.
Not interested. Not interested. This is one of those, this is a game we're going to go, what the hell? Like, why Boston, what did you do?
Right.
Like you got to go through customs and everything else. It's a pain in the ass to get up there. No one likes to go up there. Boston's 28-11 on the year, and Toronto's a dumpster fire. And
got a lot of friends in Toronto. Don't besmirch them, at least until the playoffs when the Maple Leafs lose, please.
Do you know how many wins since December the 5th the Raptors have?
1.
2 in their last game. Beat Brooklyn on the 1st of January, and that was a New Year's Day lay down by the Brooklyn Nets, who were partying too hard on New Year's Eve. And then the Golden State Warriors, 104-101 in the wake of comments by Steph saying, don't trade everybody.
Right.
Team just laid down and lost to the Raptors because they're not going to, essentially the white flag went up for the Warriors.
Yeah. From
Steph Curry saying, don't trade anybody. Don't go crazy just to make it run this year. Then it was like, goodbye. So if you guys are watching live, do not move. We have bonus time coming up here in just 1 second. If you're with us on the replay crew, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Tomorrow, Thursday, back again. We'll continue counting down to the games on Saturday and Sunday in the NFL. If you're with us live, you guys stick with us because we got more for you in bonus time. Let's see. I want to get to this topic just because it's been sitting there for 2 days on this.
Okay.
Should we be taking bets on things like wildfires?
No, never. Why?
Because there is a website called Polymarket that's starting to get some publicity.
Yep.
And they're taking bets on where the fires are going in LA.
Why?
Because the predictive nature of fires is somewhat unpredictable. So they figure out that there's some type of money or market to be had betting on the wildfires in California.
I mean, I'm not one to tell someone how to do their business, but there's certain things somebody has to be the person in the room to say, you know what? Stupid idea.
People are dying. Like you're betting on people. Forget about the loss of property. Like these things are like dozens of people have died.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's just, and we're in bonus time now, so we can let it fly. We'll checks out when we get to bonus time. It's fucking stupid. And it's insensitive. And it's who bets on it? Like
good point. Yeah.
So again, people will bet on anything, but like a race between, we used to say one of the first times I ever heard it was from a bookie back when I was young. People will bet on 2 cockroaches racing in the street.
Right.
If they want to bet. Okay. You're going to bet on where the wildfires moving to in LA next, and people are like literally losing all their stuff. I mean, we know people that lost all their stuff, lost their house, lost their this, that. We don't need to bet on that. Like those death pools. People do those death pools. I never once entered my mind to get in a death pool or hold everybody's money on a death pool. It's just stupid.
It's also like when I saw it, I went, okay, so this is what I would see when they're talking about making gambling illegal. Like these are the types of things that they would hold up. Like if you remember back in the day when Al Leiter went to the either New York or New Jersey, and he said they're going to be betting on balls and strikes, and we were like, they don't have the technology to be able to do that. Like, what are we doing? And he held up a company that had taken balls and strikes, and he was like, "Here's an example of what we're doing with balls and strikes." And people were like, "Really? You're gonna take come on, you can't be doing that." And now they are doing balls and strikes now. So they are doing speed more than balls and strikes. They're doing speed. So like. I feel like this is one of those things where people would hold it up and be like, gambling's awful. They're taking bets on people dying in California. Like the tastelessness of this, the classlessness of this is we need to get our hands around this to prevent these people from doing this.
You know that expression, like sometimes the jokes write themselves. Sometimes the stories write themselves.
Right.
You're giving them all the fuel they need.
Yeah.
By doing this.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you have to say it's not worth it because of the next whatever it is, whether it's the negative press, the stories. I mean, we're a show and we're talking about it. We're not the only ones. There's thousands of impressions on social media and people talking about it. And anybody saying it's a good thing. Oh, what a great idea. What a novel concept. Wow. An advancing company like this coming up going, they're putting up markets on the wildfires. How the fuck do you even make the line on that? That's stupid.
I mean, the market's the one that dictates that, though, right? It's not, there's no line to it. It's just basically, it's a peer-to-peer. Poly market is just like the stock market. It's just you're betting as to what direction it's going to go. So, like, what that market is, just to put it back up again, like, it's talking about there's a 48% chance the Palisades fire will hit Santa Monica. So they're saying by this Sunday, will the Palisades fire reach Santa Monica? Like, it's disgusting. But
I guess you can put up whatever price you want, and it doesn't
the
matter.
promise of a predictive market is to harness the wisdom of the crowd to create an unbiased forecast for most important events impacting society. So Poly Market's thinking that everyone's talking about it. So, let's jump into it. They did it with the election. They got in trouble with the election for taking bets on the election. So, I mean, it's one of those stories that I think will come back. We'll see. I'll say this. We'll see that again at some point. That won't be the last time that we see that.
I think, like in
a bad
company like them should probably be laying low because
in
they opened up a lot
too.
of eyes to a lot of people.
And in California, because they're going to start talking about legalization in California, and I'm sure people like that are going to want to come in and be a part of it.
They took a lot of liberties with a lot of things. Like, they're not even licensed. And they took election betting and did a lot of things. And and they're challenging a lot of, progression and advancement is because you challenge the status quo. So I'm all right with that, like in life, but not right now. That's not what you should be doing. But
need to be doing that.
Don't, at Sports Cake and Sig, just reach out. I'll give you a consultant fee and I'll tell you that whether you want to hear it or not.
No, they don't want to hear that. Better to book it. What just happened? That play or not play?
Oh, played.
Oh, it did? Okay. I froze the middle of it because I only got the end of it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I didn't get the full line of it.
Play the other one. See if that works. Just make sure. That worked. 100% that worked. Yeah, that woke everybody up. Yeah. See, Nikki? Nikki called for it. I got you, Nikki. You too, Mr. Anderson. Hit the stinger. Yes, it worked. Thank you, boys.
Iowa State laying 5.5.
I'll bet this. I'll book this one. I think this is a closer game than you think.
You can get 5 on this. Get 5.5. I think Iowa State's defense is the difference here. They're a tougher team than Kansas. Kansas on the road has not been good. Under 135, Tennessee, Georgia.
I like this.
Got a better number than what's available now, but it's now 133.
What's the expression in basketball we like to use? Rock fight? This is a rock fight.
100%.
Ugly
100%.
Game.
Ugly game. And then here in Vegas, sorry, Lon, I think Utah State destroys UNLV tonight. They're coming off of back-to-back losses for 22 points each time on the road, but coming back home, Utah State 16-1.
UNLV,
2-6-1 ATS at home.
Not good.
No,
I know. And usually I'm looking again, take the home points and a home dog, but I don't think so. I think this is a bet.
Yeah, it's 5.5 now. So it's 4.5 for me, but 5.5 is the number now for this. I think the Aggies kill them. Utah State will come down here. They'll bring people. It's a midweek game. Plenty of seats will be available for this game here tonight. You will have no trouble getting very good seats at Thomas and Mack if you want to watch this game. If you're a late night owl, it's 11 p.m. So if you're watching, I guess not watching the replay because we're off Sports Grid, but if you are looking for something late, that's your late night basketball. Utah State at UNLV tonight. Okay. Utah State's nationally ranked. Favorite thing about today is what?
2 things. One, there's a Vegas volleyball team here, the Vegas Chill, and there's been some interest.
Good. Get my daughter involved because I'm trying to get Madeline to go. I think she'd love it. It's women's volleyball at a high level in person is wildly fun.
Yeah, so
it's super cool.
It's there's two options this weekend, Friday and Sunday, and Sunday's the same time as the Chiefs or as the Bills and the Ravens. So we're not going Sunday, but I put it out there that maybe Friday night at the Dollar Loan Center, we're going to hop over there and watch some volleyball. So one, I was excited that, the other two were gone, long forgotten. I can't even get a text return from them right now. They're very busy, but I did talk to both of them yesterday, so that was nice. Good. But put it out there. Hey, would you want to go? Maybe. So maybe it's a start. You guys saw her on the show. She's a tough nut to crack, the little one. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. And number two, dogs are unbelievable. I hear yours barking in the background.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's
stupid
fine.
Guy keeps on. Literally, he's out. It's been 20 minutes.
He's going to dig. He's going to find that leak today.
I don't know. It's a different person. I have no idea who this guy is. He's just sitting outside my door, my house, knocking on my door for 20 minutes. He's been knocking on my door.
Maybe he's got a package. That'd be great.
I don't know what he's got, but he's been for 20 minutes. He's still there right now. So I don't know
what
the hell he's
doing. Dogs are unreal. The dog today followed me upstairs and went and sat on Kelsey's bed and didn't get up. And she would not get up. And I was like, Charlie, come on. She's not coming home. Like, she's not home right now. We'll FaceTime her later after class and all this other stuff. The dog knows. Like I say, the kids know. The dog knows. Like, she's like, where is she? Why am I not here? Where's she been? She would not get up. I almost had to pick her up off the couch. I had to bribe her. Say, come on, I'll give you a treat. Let's go. I got to do the show. Walking around looking for the kids. Dogs are unbelievable.
Two things for me. The first, congratulations to our friend Fitzy, who yesterday was named Afternoon Drive co-host for WEEI in Boston, which Fitzy and I have been talking sports for a really long time. Yeah. He's paid his dues for a lot of times. Ted Johnson and Andy Hart and him had done a podcast that I just happened to watch into the whole thing yesterday for him and Andy Hart it's called the Six Rings podcast. And I said to him,
what's that in reference to?
So, and I said to Fitzy, I said, you know what? You and Andy do a really good show together. I really had a good time watching you guys. And he goes, yeah, hold that thought for 1 second. There's news coming out in a couple of hours. And so then Ted Johnson got added, and that's the Afternoon Drive show. Now they're up against Felger and Maz, which is going to be an incredibly difficult nut for them to get over and crack. But I'm so happy for him and so excited for him to get this opportunity, because I think he's such a breath of fresh air, because he actually likes Boston sports. Right. He actually enjoys watching teams win, and that's going to be their angle. They're not going to be negative Nellies like the other show is and crap on Boston and rip on everything positive and just be like a dark cloud. That's not what they're going to do. And Ted Johnson's a guy who's been around for a very long time, won 3 championships with the Patriots, was a radio staple in Houston, was a dominant force in Houston when he was down there. Now coming back to Boston and being up there, he was on the show with Emerson. Do you remember Emerson's morning show? Ted Johnson was on that show with Emerson.
Okay.
Happy to see Ted land somewhere good. And then Andy Hart was already there as the Afternoon Drive show. Christian Arcand, who, ironically enough, my life is so crazy, but I gave Christian his first job in New Hampshire when I was the GM there. He's now going to move to nights to do nights on EEI. So congrats to all of them. That's tremendous. So I'm really
bottom line, does that mean Fitzy's going to big time us now, or is he going to still come on?
I already talked to him. I was like, hey man, you stop doing BvB. He's like, absolutely not. I'm still doing BvB. Like, yes, I'll still do the show and blah, blah, blah when he can. Because when you're Afternoon Drive in a major market, I mean, he's going to have a lot of commitments. He's going to have to go out and do a lot of stuff. Right. So, but I've literally been doing radio interviews with Fitzy since my time in Omaha. So we're about the same age. I've seen him do such crazy, unbelievable, great work. And I'm really happy that somebody stepped up and gave him a contract and said, you're going to be part of a permanent show in New England and on EEI of all things, which is, that was my dream. When I went there, that was my radio dream to go work for him. So I know for him, it's been a long time working, nights and weekends, and now to get Afternoon Drive is pretty damn cool. He tweeted this out, my biggest childhood W, and I think he's totally right. This is for you guys, Ross Randall, for you, guys like this. 39 years ago today, Dave, do you know what happened?
39 years ago today would make it 25 and 14.
January 12th, 1986.
1986. The Patriots won the AFC Championship?
Correct. They beat the Miami Dolphins on the road Squish the fish was the first thing I remember. This is before the Red Sox in 86 in the World Series.
Right.
This was January of 86. Before Bill Buckner, there was no success in New England. There was nothing. The Patriots were the laughingstock, period. I mean, they came in 1960 and did nothing. Irving Fryer was the best thing. Steve Grogan and Moises Tutupu and Craig James, that whole team, first team ever to go on the road to win 3 straight games in the postseason and make the Super Bowl, to only go and have their doors taken off by the Chicago Bears. But at the moment, we thought we had a football team, that the Patriots had squished the fish, and then they got annihilated by the Chicago Bears.
I'm not even embarrassed to say it. We had a Super Bowl party. That was our first kids Super Bowl party. My parents said, invite everybody, all your friends over. We did a block pool. The winner won a electronic football game.
Nice.
Beep, 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 beep. And I wore Patriots stuff. I was the only person rooting for the Patriots in the whole joint. Everybody wanted the Bears, and
overfast.
It was, and I had a Craig James 32.
Oh, wow.
Red jersey on that I would kill for today.
Seriously, right?
Love that damn jersey. Authentic. Had a guy back then I was still into it then. I'm still into it now. But
that was Dan Marino's. Like, we fucked up everything because that was supposed to be Dolphins Bears. That was supposed to be a really good Super Bowl. Dan Marino up against that defense. That Mark Duper, that receiving core for the Dolphins was supposed to go and really give 45-10 was the final. That was just, we fucked everything up. It was supposed to be a good game. And instead, because when we were growing up, Dave, the Super Bowl more often than not was a rout.
It was a terrible game.
The game was terrible.
It was a terrible game. I can't remember a good game in the 80s.
The NFC was always winning it. You had the Niners were winning all those Super Bowls, and like the Bears won their Super Bowl,
or the Raiders won a Super Bowl,
or the Raiders,
and they blew out the Redskins, or but I couldn't stand the Raiders at the time, so those games sucked. But I wore the Patriots stuff because I was mad that they beat the Dolphins. Dan Marino was my guy, and it was like, all right, this is going to be great. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'll root for the Patriots now. That didn't help. Patriots
got killed. So that was this week, 39 years ago. This week was the first time in my life I can remember. That's my first sports memory, is the Patriots beating the Dolphins on the road and thinking, we got a football team. And then, nope. 2 weeks later.
I gotta find the pictures from that. My mom probably has them somewhere. We took
that party?
Zillion pictures. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We had a big block pool. I mean,
that's fun.
I was 15, and we were basically running a bookie joint inside the house.
Oh God. Yeah, I never forget that. Everyone was like mad at the Patriots. Like, it was supposed to have been the Dolphins. Dolphins would have shown up. Your team embarrassed. Like, you imagine having social media back then during that?
No.
When the Patriots lost that 45-10.
Honestly, because the biggest thing the next day was that Walter Payton didn't score.
And the fridge did.
First
ever prop bet. Betting history. It was betting history.
It was gigantic. Jimmy talks about that all the time when they put that up out here in Vegas. I mean, everybody was like, what are you doing? Will Fridge score? It's a dumb bet. Did $1 zillion in handle on that. Got killed. They didn't know how to price it. How would the Fridge score? Touchdown.
There'll be a movie one day made on it, on the way that prop betting became a reality, how it came along, and then how it was then outlawed because people like the text message from the fucking bench.
From the locker room.
From the locker room.
I ain't going to play much in the second half, but if I do in garbage time, light them up. What the hell was that?
So bad. Back tomorrow on a Thursday, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks to Tommy the Lip and Mike Carver. If you missed any one of those interviews, definitely go back and take a look at it and watch it. Those guys were tremendous. Looking forward to seeing you guys back for a Thursday's edition of the Bostonian versus the Book.